Alrighty, so in this video, I will be discussing the links between Saudi Arabia and China. So Saudi Arabia's energy minister, Prince Abdullah bin Salman, and the director of China's National Energy Administration, Zhang Jianhua, last week announced that they would deepen their partnership in the energy field. The two officials spoke in a teleconference call and made it clear how important stable long-term supplies to the crude oil markets are. The Saudi minister reiterated that OPEC is making the right decision to cut oil production in order to ensure stable and sustainable oil markets. So the United States and Saudi Arabia's relationship has been questionable since this decision made by OPEC to cut the output after Biden made a visit to encourage them to produce more. I did make a video on that, which you can check out in the top right corner of this video. But during this meeting call, the ministers spoke about working together and making joint investments in countries that China considers to be a part of its strategic Belt and Road Initiative, which basically is a massive infrastructure project to expand their power and economic and political influence that would stretch from East Asia to Europe. The development initiatives that Biden mentioned while in Saudi Arabia were meant to act as a counter to China's plans for this Belt and Road project. However, it seemed he did kind of fail at doing that. The ministers also talked about keeping up their agreement regarding peaceful uses of nuclear energy, as well as potential collaborations in the area of electricity, clean hydrogen, and renewable energy, which were also subjects discussed during Biden's trip to Saudi Arabia. So this phone call and announcement that Saudi Arabia and China are committing to enhancing their energy partnership seems to be a very obvious jab at Biden and Washington, D.C. Saudi Arabia is frequently China's top oil supplier, and the state-owned oil company Saudi Aramco has numerous joint ventures in petrochemicals and refining with Chinese companies. It seems this meeting took the chance to remind the Biden administration that Saudi Arabia has other significant energy connections, and that Saudi's oil strategy is not dependent upon the United States. The White House representatives emphasized that one of the administration's objectives was to maintain U.S. leadership in the Middle East and prevent China and Russia from gaining influence before, during, and after Biden's visit to Saudi Arabia this summer. It kind of seems that Saudi Arabia and China are kind of preparing for a downturn in the oil market and the prices due to, this looming recession that everyone's talking about and the geopolitical landscape. It is also worth noting that even though China is Saudi Arabia's most important customer, it cannot replace the military and security role that the United States plays in the Middle East. And then diving into that deeper, the United States and Saudi Arabia have a long-term security relationship. Saudi Arabia is the United States' largest foreign military sales customer, with more than $100 billion in active cases. Through this foreign military sales, the United States has supported three key security assistance organizations in Saudi Arabia, which is the Ministry of Defense, the National Guard, and the Ministry of Interior. This has been going on since the 1950s. And the United States Army Corps of Engineers has also played a very important role in the military and civilian construction in Saudi Arabia. So I highly doubt they would be willing to throw that away, because at any time the United States can just pull out their security and support for them, and it would not be a very good effect for Saudi Arabia. But that's pretty much it. A few days ago, China and Saudi Arabia got on a phone call to discuss their energy partnership. The world is shifting in terms of energy. People are trying to transition to more clean energy, and Saudi Arabia being one of the biggest names when it comes to oil. It makes sense that they're keeping their ties with China pretty close. It's just kind of funny that they discussed all the things that Biden came to Saudi Arabia to discuss. But nonetheless, I hope you did find some value from this one. Be sure to drop a comment if you have any opinions on the matter. And also be sure to leave a like and a subscribe.